So last classes we are discussing about the user defined functions in Hive. Okay, so here the Hive will provide a facilities through which the user can create a functions. Okay, suppose you are the user, we can create a functions, and that functions we can place into the Hive cell and you can use it and you can perform a complex queries. Okay, so now here how to create the user defined functions. Already we discussed last classes that we are going to write a logic with the help of Java program. We have to write a logic in the help of Java program. Then we have to create a jar file, okay, and that jar file we can add into the Hive cell. Once you are adding into the Hive cell, then you can use as a functions and you can run the complex queries. Okay, in that way we can create user defined functions in Hive. Okay, already I told you in last classes that the Hive will have inbuilt functions. Okay, we have a many inbuilt functions is available inside the Hive, and if you want to see all the functions which is available in Hive, just you can type what command Hive, you can type Hive and show functions. What you can type? Show functions. Okay, if you type like this, what happens? All the functions which is present inside the Hive cell can be displayed. Okay, so this is the show functions. We have a command. Okay, so Hives will have three categories of the functions type. The first one is called as standard functions type. This is the first category of functions type. The second one is called as the aggregate functions type, and third is going to call as the table generating functions. Okay, so we will discuss one by one. Here a standard functions type means what? We are going to use the basic functions like reverse. Suppose if you want reverse a string, if I am going to write like this reverse, okay, I am writing reverse, and if we giving the string name, suppose if I am giving Syed is the name of the string I am giving, what happens? It gives reverse of this string. This string is going to be reversed. So what output is going to get? You get D E Y I A S. Okay, this is the output of that. So by using these reverse functions, we can reverse the strings. Okay, then we have UCase. This UCase indicate the uppercase. What is going to call as the uppercase is going to indicate. Suppose if you have like this, if you have field, if I say like this select, okay, if I'm going to say select, and if I'm giving the UCase, okay, UCase, and if I'm giving the name, okay, giving the name from, suppose if I'm giving the from any table name, suppose table name is CAC is my table name. What does it mean? It's going to display the name in which letter? In a capital letter. That is called as uppercase letter. Okay, so if you pass any field by using UCase, that field is what is going to be converted into the uppercase. So to convert into the uppercase, you are using call as what? The uppercase. We are using call as what? The uppercase functions. Uppercase, you are using what function? You are using the uppercase functions. Now similarly, if we have the other functions which is going to call as what? Which is going to call as the lowercase. Going to call as what? The lowercase functions. What functions we have? We have the lowercase functions. So here what lowercase will do? It is going to convert the field but in the forms of lower letters. It means the lower letters are going to get it. That is going to call as L case. So this U case and L case is basically used to convert into capital letter or what, or into the small letters. So this is called what functions? It is called as standard functions. Similarly, we have other functions called as round functions. Okay, suppose if I'm writing round, okay, suppose if I'm writing round 2.6. So what is the round figure of this one? We are going to get what? 3.0, that is a round. It means it will produce the round values. Okay, similarly we have other functions called as floor functions. See what is mean by floor? Generally downstream is floor. What is ceiling? High stream is going to call as this ceiling. So floor means what? Suppose if I am going to write this floor, if I am giving this functions floor 2.6 floor. So what is the value of this one? You are going to get the down value of 2.6. It means it's going to produce what result? It's going to produce result only 2. Okay, that is going to call as what functions? It's going to call as the floor functions. Okay, similarly you have other functions which is going to call as ceil. What function is going to call as? The ceil functions. The ceil functions is also called as the standard functions. Okay, so if I'm going to give the same values, ceil 2.6 if I'm going to provide it, then what result you are going to get? You are going to get 3 results. It means 3 ceilings. Okay, it's going to increase the value ceiling. Okay, floor, what is floor? It's going to decrease. So like this, decrease and increase, floor, ceiling, floor, ceiling. So by using these functions, we can perform, you can perform operations in such way. So these functions will help you to perform certain operations. Okay, the second functions we have, which is called as the aggregate functions. This is called as mathematical functions. What function is going to call as? Mathematical functions. It means we are going to perform a mathematical operations. The mathematical operations can be performed using what functions? Using aggregate functions. Okay, so here what is aggregate functions? We have sum. You can perform the sum, we can calculate the average, you can calculate the maximum values, you can calculate the minimum values. Okay, suppose if you have a table, in tables I have mark 1, suppose I have a mark 1. Now I want to find out which students got highest number of marks. So I can use what? I can use the max functions, which can display the highest mark from the table. Suppose minimum, it can display minimum marks from the tables. So by using these functions, we can perform an operations. What operations you can perform? We can perform an mathematical operations. Okay, these functions called functions? Aggregate functions. And all these functions are nothing but it is inbuilt functions in Hive. Now we have third categories of functions, which is called as table generating functions. Okay, the example of this function is explode functions and array functions. Now I will explain these 2 functions with some example. Okay, because the standard functions already we know, because already we studied in different programming languages about standard functions, aggregate functions, right? Even though we learn in database also, right? Now we are going to see about the table generating functions with some examples. I am going to give you some real-time examples through which we can understand in a better way. What I am doing is that I am going to create a table. What I am going to create? I am going to create a table, and the table name is what? The table name is array. This is my table name, which is called as array. Okay, now it has the following field. Okay, I am taking the ID1, which has what data types? Integer data types. We have ID2, it is what data types? It is an array data types, because already we discussed last time we have array data types, and also we have ID3, we have the array. This is complex data types. What kind of data types it is? It is a complex data types in Hives. Okay, and then I am writing row format delimited, field terminated by tab. It means you are going to be giving a space between the field. Between the fields you are going to provide a spaces. Then collections item terminated by comma. Okay, now what does it mean? If you look this data, which is I given here, this data, suppose we have data which is look like this. Okay, now this data means what we have? We have a data, this is called as, I can call as ID1, okay, which is what? In the form of integer. This is we have ID2, which is forms an item, just like items of array, and this is called as the ID3, which is also in the forms of an items. Okay, so this is, suppose we have data like this. Now what you can do is that we are going to load this data, right? We can load this data into which tables? Into the array tables. Okay, so suppose the data has been loaded into which tables? Array tables. Just imagine this data is loaded into which tables? Into the array tables. So once you know how to load the data, because we have to use the same syntax for loading of data also, which you used earlier. So I am just not telling how to load it, because you know very well how to load data into the table. Now here what I am doing is that I want to show you how these explode functions can be used in Hive. Okay, that's my aim. So already what you did here, we had created the we had created the table, right? So we had created the tables. This data is placed. Now I'm going to select a star from the arrays. It means when data is loaded into tables arrays. Now I'm going to get this data from this table arrays. Okay, if you write these queries, we are going to get data in this form. Okay, this is for ID1, this is for ID1, this is for call as ID2, and this is called as what? This is called as for ID3. Okay, so we have ID1 in the forms of integer, ID2 in the forms of array, which is taken as a string form, because what data types is given for the array is string type, and this is also taken as ID, right? So like this you have taken. Now here if you see this one here, why I am putting comma in between this item? Because collections items terminated by comma. So this is items. So in between items, what happens? You have to terminate it by comma symbol. What do you have to give? We have to give the comma symbols, right? Now similarly, if you see this here, this is items. So what you can do? We are going to separate them by the comma only. That's why you have written this this syntax, that collections items terminated by the comma. Now if you see these queries, you are going to get results in these fashions. The result has been displayed in these fashions. Now I am going to use this explode query here. This is what I mean to say. This is what functions? It is what functions? It is an explode functions. Okay, select explode ID2. So I am going to select which one? I am going to select the ID2 only. It means this one. As ID from where? As ID from the arrays. Okay, so if I'm going to fire this query, what happens is that this ID2 numbers will be exploded. Okay, it will be just like exploded. It will be getting explosions. Okay, so this ID2 will be getting exploded. How it going to be exploded? See, ID2, what numbers we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it is going to be exploded like this: 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, and then 8. Okay, it means that we are firing these queries on one row and we are generating result as what? Result as a multiple rows. We are getting as a multiple rows as a results. Okay, in some cases for one rows you may get a results in the terms of multiple rows. Okay, that is going to call as what? Explode. That is going to call as what? The explode. Okay, in this way what happens? These explode functions can be useful in the Hive. Okay, so this is what about the Hive. Okay, so the Hive we discussed many things, right? What is the Hive? Why you are going to use the Hive? Why Hive is very useful? Where you should not use Hive? What is Hive architectures, right? We have learned about SQL, and you learn about how to analyze data using the Hives, and then you learn about user-defined functions in Hive. Okay, so this is the first part of your fourth chapter. Okay, in first part of the 4 chapters we are discussing only about the Hive interface. What interface? Only about the Hive interface. You're discussing the first part of your 4 chapters. Okay, and this Hive came because the Facebook developers, they don't know Java, and when they want to work with the Hadoop, when they want to interact with the Hadoop, they need some interface. Through that interface they can work to the Hadoop, they can interact to the Hadoop, they can process data to the Hadoop, they can get result from the Hadoop. For that what happens? The Facebook has created what? This interface which is called as Hive. So Hive is what? It is kind of interface or translator which can translate your SQL queries into what? Into MapReduce jobs or MapReduce programs. So for that purpose using what? The Hive. Now Hive is very easy to learn. Why? Because if you know SQL query in very well, suppose if you are very good in SQL queries, definitely I am damn sure that we can learn this Hive within a month or within a very short period of time. We can learn these tools in very very fantastic way. The main requirement of this word, you have to know how to work with SQL queries and how to work with SQL database. Okay, so if you are very good in that, this Hive is very easy for you. Okay, so if you think that I'm very good in SQL, it's my advice that we can learn these Hive tools in a very easiest way. And Hive is what? The Hive is always installed on the top of the Hadoop. Okay, so that's why Hive is also a part of Hadoop ecosystem. What system? It is a part of the Hadoop ecosystems. Okay, so we have learned a lot of things about the Hive. Okay, now we are moving to the second part of the 4 chapters, and that is looks like a funny if I'm going to display the second content of the 4 chapters, but it's very useful for us, right? Because you're going to see how the second part going to have the similarities between the first part and the second part, that also you're going to discuss. So in the second part of your 4 chapters, we are focusing on the second topic, which is called as the pig, which is going to call as what? Which is going to call as the pig. Okay, so in these topics you're going to discuss, these are the syllabus for the second part of your 4 chapters. We're going to discuss about the pig, introductions to pig, the anatomy of the pig on Hadoop, pig philosophy, use case for the pig, ETL processing, pig Latin overview, data types in the pig, running pig, execution mode of the pig, SDFS commands, relational operators, piggy bank, word count example using pig at Yahoo, pig versus Hive. So these are the topics we are going to cover in the second part of your 4 chapters. Okay, now here you're going to see what are the main objective of this second part of your 4 chapters is, we are going to learn details about introduction to pig. In that you're going to learn the key features and anatomy of the pig. We are going to see the execution mode of the pig, and you're going to learn the various relational operators in the pig, because the pig use the relational operator as well. Okay, so we're going to see one by one about this topic. Now, introductions to pig. Okay, as I told earlier that why Hive is used, we know about Hive very well. Why Hive came into real world? Okay, by Hive, how we are solving the problem of Hadoop, how we interacting to the Hadoops. Okay, that is about the Hive. Now coming to this pig, also have some historical background of the pig. So you discuss the little history background of the pig, how the pig came into the market to the world. Okay, so for that, okay, now we will discuss about the brief history of the pig. Okay, the pig is, the pig is kind of animal, so we'll discuss later on why the name it is called as pig, that we'll discuss later on. But if first try to understand why pig is required, why pig is so important, why you need pig, why you need pig. Okay, we know that the Hive is being created by Facebook. The Facebook has created the Hive. In the same way, the pig is being created by Yahoo. The Yahoo has created the pig. Yahoo has created this pig. Who has created this pig? The Yahoo has created the pig. Okay, the who has created this pig? Only Yahoo has created. Again, your questions will come, why Yahoo has created this pig? We have history, because in the Yahoo companies, the developers of Yahoo, they know scripting language. What they know? They know scripting language. As I told earlier, the Facebook people, they know SQL queries very well. Similarly, this Yahoo people, the Yahoo developers, they know scripting languages. What are scripting languages we have? Suppose you say Python. Python is what? Is a scripting language, isn't it? You have Python is a scripting language. Ruby is also what? It is also kind of scripting language. Shell is scripting, it is also kind of scripting languages. So these Yahoo peoples are very much comfortable with scripting languages. They are very good enough to write scripting languages. They are very good to write script. Using what language? Using the scripting languages. But problem is that Yahoo has huge data sets, just like Facebook. Now, if the Yahoo want to use, if the Yahoo want to process the large data sets, they can process, okay, or they can store large data set using what? Using the Hadoop. What? Using the Hadoop. Because the 40% of ad hoc queries of Yahoo is running in Hadoops. Okay, 40% of ad hoc queries of Yahoo is running where? Is running in Hadoop only. It means you just imagine that the most of the works, most of the processing, they are doing what? With the help of the Hadoop only. So the Yahoo is one of the biggest user of the Hadoop. Okay, but our question is that if Yahoo developers want to interact to this Hadoop, if they want to process data from the Hadoop, if they want to do any operations on the Hadoop, or if they want to interact to data to the Hadoop, they must know MapReduce program. They must know what? MapReduce program. Understand? Without MapReduce programs, they cannot interact to the Hadoop for the processing. So for the processing, we must know the MapReduce program. But the problem is that these Yahoo developers, they want to interact to the Hadoop, but problem is that they know only scripting languages. And if you want to process the data in Hadoop using MapReduce program, the MapReduce program must be what? Must be written in Java only. Okay. First, I have to write all of my queries, all of my processing. I can do what? For that, I can write only in the form of Java programming. It means first you have to write Java program. Okay, because MapReduce programs can be written in what? In the forms of Java only. So if you know Java, then you can interact to what? You can interact to the Hadoop data. Okay, you can process the Hadoop data. You can get results from the Hadoop clusters. You can do processing in Hadoop clusters. Okay, but this is a great challenge of Yahoo developers, because the Yahoo developers doesn't know Java, because they are non-programmer. They are non-Java programmer. They don't know how to write Java program. They don't know how to compile. They don't know how to create jar file. Okay, that is biggest issues the Yahoo companies were facing. But Yahoo companies has a very good software engineers who are very good in scripting language. They can write scripting languages. They are very good in Python. They are very good in Ruby. They are very good in shell scriptings, but they are not good in Java programming. In this case, how they will interact to the Hadoop, how they process the huge data sets, how they will communicate to the Hadoop, how they will get the results, that is the great challenge of the Yahoo. So to solve these issues or to solve these challenges, they came with some solutions. What solution they came? They had invented scripting tool. What they invented? They invented the scripting tool. What tools they invented? They had invented the scripting tool. This is called as scripting tool. Okay, by using these scripting tools, they are going to write a script, and they know how to write a script. Okay, so they have invented the scripting tools, and they are going to write a script. They are going to write a script using the scripting languages what they know, because they are very good in scripts, so they understand scripting language very easily. So what did the scripting tools do? That the scripting tools will going to convert this script in the series of MapReduce program. What? In a series of MapReduce programs or MapReduce jobs. MapReduce programs or MapReduce jobs. Understand? So here, this Yahoo developers, they came a solutions that we don't know Java, so nothing to worry. We are going to find a solutions. What solution they got it? They had brought a scripting tools. So by using scripting tools, they are going to write scripts. And what scripting tools do? This scripting tools, what to do? It will going to convert the scripts what into series of MapReduce programs. And by using these MapReduce programs, what happens? They can interact to Hadoop. Okay, they can process the data, they can transform the data, they will get results, they will get desired results from the Hadoops. Okay, so it means that even though they don't know Java, but they are able to interact to the Hadoop clusters. Even though I don't know Java, but I can use a scripting tools. With the help of scripting tools, I can write this script, and this scripting tools, what it will do? It will convert this script into what? Into series of MapReduce programs. And with this MapReduce programs, we are going to interact to the Hadoop clusters. And this scripting tool is nothing but it is called as Pig. It is called as what? The Pig. What is the name? Is called as the? It is going to call as the Pig only. Okay, so what this Pig will do? This Pig is a scripting tools. Okay, by using this Pig, you are going to write scripts, and these tools, what it will do? It will going to convert it to what? Into series of MapReduce programs, and with these programs, you are going to interact into the Hadoop, and you are going to do all kind of stuffs, all kind of process you can do, and you are going to get the results. Okay, so my question is that this Pig is also created in the year of 2006. And Hive also created in the year of 2006, and both are working for the same problem, right? Hive is also working for the same problem, how to interact to the Hadoop. Okay, Pig also working for the same problem, how to interact to the Hadoop, but the way of approach is different. The way of methodology is different, depends upon the requirement of their companies. If you see Facebook, the Facebook developers, they know about SQL. They are very comfortable about SQL. So what they did, they had invented Hive, because Hive is very comfortable. Hive is what? Hive is based on SQL queries. Hive will process only structured data. Yes, no? So depends upon the developers of that concerned companies, they develop a tools. So Hive is what? Hive is somewhat easier to learn if you know SQL concepts. Okay, but in the case of Yahoo also facing the same problem. How to interact to the Hadoop? Our developers doesn't know Java. What to do? Hive also facing same problem. How to interact to the Hadoop? My developer doesn't know what Java, how to interact to the Hadoop. So what they did, this Hive, based on the comfort of their developers, the Facebook peoples know SQL, so they invented Hive. Whereas Yahoo peoples, they are very good in scripting language, so they had invented a scripting tool which is called as what? The Pig. So more or less, this Pig or Hive, both are what? Both are invented in which year? Both are invented what? In the year of 2006 to solve the same problem, to interact to the Hadoop MapReduce, to interact to the Hadoop clusters. Okay, to convert their complex scripting into the MapReduce programs, to convert their queries into the MapReduce programs. So both are using different approaches to solve the common problem. Okay, so who has invented the Pig? The Pig has been invented only by the Yahoo in the year of 2006. Who has invented the Hive? The Hive is what? The Hive is invented by the Facebook in the year of 2006, and both are going to solve the common problems, but they're using the different approaches. Okay, in this way the Pig is born. The Pig is born. Now we're going to see that who is most powerful. Pig is most powerful, the Hive is most powerful, and you're going to see one by one. And one more thing is that if you see the scripting language is very, very beautiful language, because we can write less number of line and we can get a better solutions. Okay, for the same problem, suppose I have a problem, for the same problem I can write only 10 lines and I'm going to get the solutions, because the scripting language is totally optimized language. With less number of lines we can get a better solution, you can get a better results. In Python also, see, in Python, if you want to find factorial, we have a functions called as factorial. You can use factorial functions, you can get results within fraction of a second. But if you want to write in C language, we have to write a lot of lines of codes. So this is the beauty of the scripting language. The scripting language is what? It is totally optimized. With less number of codes, we can do a great work. Okay, we can you can improve your performance, we can get better results, we can solve complex problem within using what? By using the scripting languages. That's why scripting languages become very famous. Now Python is very famous. Why Python is very? Because it is also kind of scripting languages. And one thing, keep in mind that the scripting languages use interpreters. They use what? They use interpreter also. Now this is what about the history of Hive. So we came down about how this Hive is working and how this Hive history came into the pictures. If you see this diagram, what you understand from these two pictures? Why we need pig? That is my first question, right? Why I need pig? Here, the first things I'm going to ask you is that, do you know Java? For some people, they say Java is very complex program. Lot of things you need to know about Java, right? And Java is very vast ocean. We have to learn from the scratch. It is very difficult programming languages for some people. So do you know Java? See, he's crying. It means he doesn't know Java. He's not good in Java programming. So if you don't know Java, is it not possible for you to interact with the Hadoop? Is it not possible to work with the Hadoop clusters? Is it not possible to you to store data into the SDFS? It is not possible to perform MapReduce programs. So only Java people have right to do all kind of stuffs. What about you if you don't know Java? Right? So this is my first question is, even though if you don't know Java, don't worry, we have very good tools through which we can interact to the Hadoop clusters and you can do all kind of processing for huge data sets. Now, what is the big advantage of Pig is that it is scripting language. Therefore, we can write 10 lines of Pig is equal to what? 200 lines of Java. It means if you want to write a code to solve a problem, some problem, for that problem, certain problem, you may write 200 lines code of Java. And for the same problem, if you're going to use Pig, we can finish the same problem with 10 lines of code. Only 10 lines of codes are required. Okay, so here which is the best one you feel? See, writing 200 lines of Java, it may take you 4 hours to write 200 lines of Java. I'm sitting on the home, I'm thinking the logic, I'm writing, keep on writing. For me it takes 4 hours of time. Okay, but if I have a Pig tool, the same problem I can solve using 10 lines of code, because it is what? It is scripting languages. It is optimized. So here what happens? We are getting the code optimizations. You can optimize the code in a very beautiful way. Okay, that's why here this Pig is very famous. So to solve the same problem, we can write 10 lines of code, which is nothing but equal to what? Equal to 200 lines of Java programming. That's why the Pig is very famous, and by using Pig, the Yahoo peoples now they have become very happy. They're coming with a happiness on their face. They're saying, great, we got a Pig tool. By Pig we can make miracle on Hadoop, we can work on Hadoop, we can process large data sets. Okay, and basically this Pig tool is invented for researcher. Okay, if the researchers are going to work for large data sets, they need tools, and if they want to process on Hadoop clusters, they need tools through which they can process very fastly. So it will give you quick access. It will give you quick access of your queries. Okay, so here by using Pig, for the researcher, they can finish their research within a stipulated period of the time. So Yahoo has created this Pig tool also for what? Also for the researcher, and also what? Also for the developers. You can say it is what tools? It is kind of developers tools. It can be used by developers. Which developers? Those who are very good in scripting languages. You're going to see what is Pig. Okay, Pig is a scripting language used for exploring large data sets. Is I told earlier that it is what kind of language? It is scripting language, because you're going to write scripts, okay, to process large data set which is stored in Hadoop. In Hadoop we have a large data sets, so you are going to do processing using what? Using the Pig. And Pig is a high level language. It is what kind of language? It is high level language, and it is basically what? It is basically used for the data processing. So we can do data processing inside the Hadoop, okay, using what? Using the Pig. The Pig is what? It is high level language. Now my question is that which tool is easier to learn, Pig or Hive? If my question is, see, the Hive is very easy to learn, because for the Hive, if you know SQL queries, we can learn very fastly, no doubt at all. But for the Pig, we have to learn the Pig from the scratch, because the Pig is scripting language, and the Pig use a different language which is called as Pig Latin. What language is going to call as Pig Latin? The Pig Latin is a language which is used by the Pig. Okay, so the Pig is scripting. If you want to write a script on the Pig, we have to use what language? The Pig Latin language. And the syntax of the Pig Latin, syntax and semantics of the Pig Latin is totally different. So we have to learn from the scratch. You have to understand how the syntax can be used, how we are going to, what kind of semantics we have, then only we can run the script on the Pig. So learning Pig is somewhat complex than what? Than the Hive tools. So we have to learn the Pig from the scratch, but it's not so much tough to learn the Pig. If you concentrate on the scripting language called as Pig Latin, we can learn in very nice way. Okay, so what kind of language the Pig is using? The Pig is using what kind of language? Which is called as the Pig Latin. So by using Pig Latin, we can write a script, and then you can run this script, and by using this script is going to convert it into the series of MapReduce programs, and through that you can interact to the Hadoop clusters. So it is what? It is an alternative to MapReduce programming. Now you may question us, what is alternative of MapReduce programming? Because see, I don't know Java. If you want to run MapReduce program, you must know Java. You must know how to create jar file. You must know how to code it. Okay. Even though I don't know Java, but I am able to interact to Hadoop clusters. Okay. And how I am interacting to Hadoop clusters? Through the Pig tool. Through the Pig tool, I can going to interact. This Pig tool, what will do? We are going to write a script using what language? Pig Latin language, and that script is going to convert it into series of MapReduce programs. It means indirectly we are going to get MapReduce programs only. That's why it is called as an alternative to MapReduce programming. So what is the ultimate aim? Ultimately you are going to get a series of MapReduce jobs, or series of MapReduce program only. Okay, so being a scripter, being a script language, we can able to work Hive in very beautiful environment. Okay, now you are going to see here that it is performed for data analysis. Of course, by using the Pig, we can analyze your data. Okay, it is also kind of analytical tool. Okay, for example, Twitter. See tweeters, many people are tweeting a text. Lot of text are tweeting. Text is what? It is unstructured data. Many people are tweeting. So if I want to analyze on the tweet, what kind of tweets you are getting daily, which tweet is very famous for today, what kind of people are thinking about the product. If I want to analyze some data about the Twitter data, I can use a Pig tool. So the Twitter companies, they're using the Pig tool for what? For the data analysis. That you can see in the real-time scenarios, how the tutors are using this Pig tool for what? Pig tool for the data analysis. Okay, so this is a tool also used for what? Used for the data analysis. You're going to see the advantage of using Pig. What is the advantage of using Pig? First, remove the need for user to tune Hadoop. You should not think about the I don't know Java. You tune your mind that even though I don't know Java, I can work nicely to Hadoop clusters. I can execute my tasks on Hadoop clusters. I can process data on Hadoop clusters. I can get results from the Hadoop clusters. So you have to tune your mind in such a way that even though you don't know Java, you can able to interact with the Hadoop clusters very effectively and very efficiently. So that kind of environment you are going to get through the pig. Next, increase productivity in one test. So it's going to increase the productivity. Just now I told you that the 10 lines of pigs equal to what? 200 lines of Java code. It means you are saving the time, right? If you want to solve a problem, for certain problem, for the same problem, if you write 200 lines of Java code, and if you give it to the pig can write only 10 lines of codes. So pig will very effective optimization on the code. It will optimize the code very effectively. It saves the development time. The development time will be saved. You can save development time like anything. Okay, it saves the development time. For example, we take 4 hours to write Java, takes about 50 minutes to write in pig Latin. So for the same problem, we can write a Java code for 4 hours to solve the same problem. And the same problem, if you give it to the pig use pig Latin, and they can write this optimized code, and they can finish the work within the 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, the work can be completed by the pig. Now tell me which is good one, Java or pig here? Here the pig become very powerful. Even though I don't know Java, but I can do the work with Hadoop very fastly, accurately, and very fast I can execute the query. That is the beauty of the pig. Okay, so that's why the Yahoo developers, they are interacting and they are running the jobs in Hadoop. 40% of ad hoc queries what is running in Hadoop for the Yahoo. The Yahoo is the main user of what? Main user of the Hadoop clusters. Okay, this is the biggest advantage of using the pig. Now less development time, easy to learn. See, why it is easy to learn? If you are very good in scripting language, if you are very good in Python, if you are very good in Ruby, if you are very good in shell scripting, for you the pig is nothing. We can learn easily the pig language, pig Latin language, because the language which is used by pig is called as what? Pig Latin. The pig Latin language can be easily learned without any trouble. Just you have to concentrate the semantic and syntax, and we can learn the pig Latin language very fast rate. So it's not a very complex task to learn the pig Latin languages. Now, effective for unstructured. Okay, this advantage of using pig is what? The pig also work on the structured data, not pure structured data. Some structured data it is going to be work on the pig, but the Hive is not meant for a structured and semi-structured data. The Hive will operate only on structured data. That's what Hive. The Hive is only for structured data, but for the pig can work on structured data. It works on semi-structured data. It also work on somewhat unstructured data, but not purely structured data. Because pig will not support audio, video, images, but it can support some of the text files. Okay, that's why it is not going to work on pure unstructured data, but it has advantage that it can also work with some structured data. So pig is had advantage compared to Hive. The Hive can work only for the structured data, right? But pig can work for semi-structured data, structured data, as well as unstructured data. Okay, so this is the advantage of using pig. Features of pig. Okay, you're going to see what is the features of pig. It provides engine for executing data flows, how your data should flows. Pig process data in parallel in Hadoop clusters. You see, the pig also follow the same rules like Hadoop clusters. We are going to processing can be done with the help of parallel processing. We are taking the large data sets, and large data set is divided into a small set, and one set you are going to scatter the data into different nodes, right? So we have different nodes are there, and every nodes are going to work in parallel processing. Okay, in the same way this pig is going to be work. So it provides engines. What engines? Executing engines. Because what about the scripting language? What are the scripts going to write using Pig Latin? Because Pig Latin is a language used by the pig. So by using Pig Latin, I am going to write some scripting language. Some script I am going to write. What I'm going to write here? I'm going to write some script, right? And this script will be converted into the series of MapReduce programs. Series of MapReduce programs. So here what happens? We are going to use some engines. That is what engines are going to call as execution engines. You are going to use where in the pig also. Pig use execution engine. That we are going to discuss in the architecture of pig. It provides a language called Pig Latin to express data flows. So already I told that the pig use only one language, which is called as Pig Latin language. So if you want to write the cell, if you want to write the script using pig, we must use a language which is called as Pig Latin language. So by using this language, we can write scripts, okay, and that script, this script will be converted into the series of MapReduce programs. Then we have Pig Latins contain operators for many of the traditional data operations such as join. So here what happens? Here also it contains lot of operators, like we have join operators, we have filters operators, we have sort operators. So the pig package will come with a lot of operators, relational operators and logical operators. So you are going to see how these operators can be used in the pig. The pig will come with lot of operators we have. Now it allows user to develop their own functions. That's what a great beauty of this pig also. The pig also used for customizations. What is customizations? We can create your own functions, just like Hive. You write your code into Java, convert them into jar file, add into the pig, and you can use it as a functions. So it allow you to do customizations. You can create your own functions and you can use it for what? You can use these functions for reading, for processing and writing the data. It means the created functions can use to read data from SDFS, to write data into SDFS and to process data into SDFS. Okay. So these facilities who is going to provide you? The pig is going to provide you these features. Okay, we can create your own user defined functions. Metadata are not required but used when it's available. This is what difference between Hive. Hive use metadata, but pig doesn't use metadata. Why? Because the pig will take data from SDFS. It takes data from the SDFS. It processes data of SDFS, and after processing the result will store back to SDFS. It means the pig directly interact to SDFS. It takes data from SDFS. After taking data from SDFS, it transform the data, it process the data. After processing will take place, it try to store result back to SDFS. Because of that, there is no requirement of metadata. Even though if metadata is available, exceptionally you can use it, optionally you can use it, nothing to bother about that. But metadata is not required for what? For the case of the pig. But for the Hive, without metadata, it is not possible to process any queries. And for the Hive, if you want to store metadata, you must require metastore. And metastore is what? It is any kind of relational database management systems. So here you have an advantage that you don't require metadata, okay, in case of the pig. Now you are going to see pig uses scenarios. Who uses pig? Who is going to use the pig? Because I am created the pig tool, I need some user to use my pig. Otherwise, who going to use the pig, right? So who is going to use the pig? Here you see the scenarios. The first one is that Yahoo is one of the companies who are going to use the pig in a very high rate. Okay, so Yahoo, one of the heaviest user of Hadoop, run 40% of all its Hadoop jobs in pig. So 40% of Hadoop jobs will be running by using pig. Just imagine, 40% of the Hadoop jobs can be run using the pig only. The pig is that much useful for the Hadoop. In the year of 2013 to 2014, in this era, the pig is in a very peak level. because almost all the ad hoc queries running by using the pig tools. Okay, but little bit now the pig is not that much famous, because many tools came out who is dominating the pig. But in 2013 2014 the pig is become a very famous tools, because most of the queries, ad hoc queries, is running using the pig tools. So who is the main user of the pig? Yahoo companies. He is the main leader of using the pig. Okay, next, Twitter. Okay, Twitter also one of the well known user of the pig. Okay, you know Twitter, everybody want to tweet the text. You have to go to Twitter, install the Twitter application, tweet about today agenda, what Prime Minister says of India, what Donald Trump is saying about others, and you are tweeting, you are reading a lot of text messages, right? So Twitter use what tools? Pig. So these two companies, I can say, they are the main user of which tool called as pig tools. They are going to use pig tools in a more ample way. Okay, they are the main user of the pig tools, because tutors are using these pig tools for data analysis. They are going to analyze the data, and Yahoo using this tool to run the Hadoop jobs using the pig. So if you want to run the Hadoop jobs, they can use they can use the pig tools. So these two companies are the high rated company who can use pig. Now you see Twitter's user scenarios. It's very interesting for you. This Twitter user scenarios. Okay, see how these things are happening here. This is Twitter database. What database we have? We have a Twitter database. This Twitter database will have two tables. It has two tables. One table is going to call as tweet table. Second table is going to call as user table. These two tables we have, and we have the user table. So we have two tables are there. Now you just imagine that this is what data? It is structured data. What data it is? A structured data. Structured data means what? The data in the forms of table. In the forms of table, we have a data in Twitter database. Now this two table, the data of this two table, we are going to place them into SDFS. It means put the tables on SDFS. You are going to put this table into SDFS. It means we are injecting the data into the SDFS. Now you ask one question, sir, how are you going to inject this data into SDFS? Do you need any tools? Of course you need tools. Okay, what kind of tools we are going to use? Here we are going to use a tools called Scoop. What is going to use? Scoop tool. Okay, this is called as data injection tool. What tools? It is called as data injection tools. So these tools will help you to bring data from RDBMS, from relational database management system, and they will place this data into the SDFS. It means that the data will brought from Twitter database into the SDFS. Now here the data is loaded into the SDFS using what tools? Using Scoop tools. Now we have data here. Now what pig will do is that the pig will going to process this data which is stored into SDFS. They are doing some kind of manipulations. They are doing some kind of processing on this data which is stored into SDFS. Okay, so they are doing some kind of computations on this data. So it means that the pig, what happened? Load the data in pig. So you are going to load this data into the pig. The pig will do some kind of transformation, some kind of results is going to produce, and after getting some results, some processing, what happens? The result of this one, what can you place back to the SDFS. What does it mean? It means that I am taking data from Twitter database, bringing into HDFS. Okay, how I am bringing from Twitter to SDFS? With the help of tool called Scoop tool. And after that, what I am doing is that this pig, what will do? The pig will take this data from SDFS. It processes the data from the SDFS, and after processing, what you do? It will try to place the result back to the SDFS. In this way, pig is going to work on the Twitter. Okay, so we have a Twitter database. Bring the data into SDFS. Pig will load this data. Okay, pig will load this data from SDFS. They'll process the data, and after processing, what happens? The result will going to store into SDFS. Now, to understand this one, I would like to give you some real-time example. Okay, if you know about real-time example, we have very clear concept about how these tutors can be used as a scenarios. Okay, so see these slides, you can understand in very better and very beautiful way. I'm sure this example, how it's going to work. See here, this is your tutor database. In this database, we have two tables. One is called as what table? User table. We have user table will have the two field. One is ID numbers is given 1 2 3. We have the name is Jay, Alex. You keep any name, it's your interest. Okay, it's my interest, I keep this name. It's your interest, you keep any name. So you have name Jay, Alex, Sam. This is user table. We have two tables. These two tables contain two field. One is user ID, one is tweet. Tweet means tweet in the forms of text. You are making some tweets right now. The same user 1 has making some tweets called as XYZ. The same user 2 has made some tweet ABC. The one is making some tweet because I can make many tweets. I can comment on many posts. I can give my suggestion, my recommendation on many posts. So I'm making many tweets. So the ID 3 making tweets on STU. This is the tweets. Again ID making some tweets, and 2 also ID making some tweets. So this is what tables? This is two tables. Now these two table we are going to import. Right? We are going to import into the SDFS. And how you are going to import? Using the tools. What tools I am going to use? Scoop tools I am going to use. What tools I am going to use? Scoop tools I am going to use, and I am going to import this table into SDFS. Now in SDFS we have two tables. What we have? Two tables. What tables we have? We have two tables. One table is user table you brought from the database of tutors. One table is two tables you brought from the database of the tutors. Now we are going to load this data which is present in SDFS into the pig. So this is a pig environment. This what environment is? Pig processing, pig environment. The pig will do all kind of manipulation. So now the pig, what will do is that the pig will take this table from where? From SDFS. What table he will going to take? He will take user table, and he will take two table for what? For the processing. What? It for the processing. So how he going to process? He can perform two operation. One operation is called what operation? Join operation. And second operation, what operation? Which is called as group operation. First is going to join the tables. Okay, so you see ID, name, user ID, and tweet. So IDs are common. Here also IDs, here also ID is common. So you are going to perform what operation? Join operation. So you are going to get ID, then going to get the name, and going to get the tweet. Okay. Now after joining, what happens? They group them. Grouping will take place based on the ID. So how many grouping means what? You can group them based on the ID. So 1 1 1 1 1 one group. Then we have 2 2. We have second group, and then what? We have three groups, and you can arrange them. You can arrange them into what? In this format. This is going to call as what? Going to call as what? They are going to do some kind of processing, and for that they are going to write some. They are going to write some script. You are going to write some script, and you are performing some kind of processing. Now this relation table in pig Latin language is called as bag. It is going to call as what? Bag. Keep it in mind. You are not going to call as relational, you are not going to call as table, but in the case of the pig Latin language, it is going to call as the bag. What is bag? The bag is what? The collection of the rows. We have the collections of the rows. This is going to call as the bag. So this is complete bag we have. In bag what you have? In bag we have ID, bag we have a name, bag we have a tweets. This is going to call as the bag. After that, I am doing some other processing. What process I am doing is that I am going to count. Okay, for ID how much count, how much tweet he made. For ID 2 how much tweet he made. For ID 3 how much tweet he made. I am going to make some counting. So again I am applying what? Again I am writing some script here. I am writing some small script, and what I am going to do? I am going to write the counting. I am getting the count. Now for ID 1 how much count he made? He made 3 count. It means he made how much tweet? He made 3 tweets. So if you see here ID 1 2 3, how much tweets he made? He made 3 tweets. Right? Like he made how much tweets? He made 3 tweets. See, it means that we are analyzing it, right? For each user, how much tweets they are making it. Okay? So just you doing some kind of analyzing. So you see here the ID 1 has made how much count here? 3 count, it means 3 tweets he has made. For ID2, how much tweet he has made? 2 tweets. And for ID3, how much? Only 1 tweet. Okay. Now here we are going to get some clear information about the tutor, the user of the tutors. Okay, how much tweets they are making in a daily. Then again, what I am doing is that I am performing some other operation also. What I am doing is that I am taking this table, which is what tables I am going to call is you are going to get this one ID count, and it means here what I am going to join with this user tables. Okay, so it means if you are going to join this one into what user tables, what you are going to get? You are going to get ID, okay, right, name and count. It means here what I am doing is that I am going to join with what, performing join operation or join operation with the user tables. Because to make more clear information, I want to know ID number. The same time I want to know the name of the user. Okay, so if you want to know the name of the users, what I am doing is that I am making some kind of join operation with this user table. So I am getting ID, then you are getting the name, I am getting the count. Now this is my result. This is what I am going to. This is what result I obtain. This result, what happens? I got it. Okay, this is my result. This result, what it says, the ID1 whose name is J made 3 tweet he made. His count is how much? His count is only 3. Same thing for ID2 whose name is Alec. How much tweet he made? He made 2 tweets. Again, if we have ID3 whose name is Sam, how much tweet he made? He made 1 tweet. Now this result, where you are going to store? That is my next question. See, we are taking the data from Twitter using Scoop tools, put into SDFS, then Pig will take data from the SDFS, they will process lag in this fashion using scripting languages, they will create a results, and this is where they are going to store. This result they are going to store where? Into the SDFS back. Again, this what happened? This result going to store where? It is going to store into SDFS. So once the result is stored into SDFS, what happens? These results can be exported to tutors. They can see the results. They can understand that, okay, how many users they are making, how many tweets in per day. They can do some kind of report they will generate from that. Okay. So in this way, what happens? This way the tutors are working on the Pig. The Pig is nothing is doing. So here there is no need of metadata. Of course, you don't need metadata. You are taking the Twitter table, putting them into your SDFS using what? Scoop tools. Then what Pig will do? The Pig will take this data from SDFS. They'll do some kind of analysis. You're doing some analysis using what language? Scripting languages. They're getting the results, and what happens? These results will going to store back into SDFS. Okay, and later on, these tutors will going to do reporting, analyzing, and they will find the interest on the user, how users are using the tweets, okay, how many tweets made by each users. Okay, so this is what I want to explain in this diagram, right? In this diagram the same thing happened, isn't it? We are taking the Twitter database, we are plugging this data into the table called SDFS. From SDFS you are doing what? Processing. One processing will happen, what you are doing? You are putting the what? Result back to the SDFS. In this way the Pig is very useful for data analysis. We can do data analysis using Pig. So it's Pig tool. That's why the Pig is always installed on the top of the Hadoop. Keep it in mind. Suppose this is a Hadoop, we have to install Pig on the top of the Hadoop. So if you install Pig on the top of the Hadoop, the Pig can perform all data processing work in a parallel way. Okay, so I hope you understand that how Pigs are used by the companies called as tutors, and you will going to see next classes about the how Pig is, where should not use Pig, what is the ontology of Pig, Pig philosophy, lot of things going to come on. So be patient. Okay, thank you very much for today classes.